Merry Christmas from the Honolulu Blues. Here we go. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through Detroit, not a single fan sleeping, they all just enjoyed. The flags were hung high outside of every house in hopes that the Lions would soon end title droughts. The children were nestled snug in their beds while parents partied and poured champagne on their heads. And Mama in her golf jersey and I in my Lions hat. Let's look back on the season in a fun Christmassy recap. We started in KC, where there arose such a clatter. Lions fans took over Arrowhead, and there was some chatter. Branch picked Mahomes and flew like the Flash. The Chiefs were so scared they could not catch a pass. But that game was dubbed a win with a little asterisk. The media didn't believe. They said, let's wait till after Game 6. When what to my wandering eyes should appear but a 5-1 record. Could this be our year? We can win with passing or running. Take your pick. I knew Brad Holmes just might be St. Nick. He gave us presents from all of his drafts, and a coach that told us we'd beat anyone's ass. Now Hutch, now Gibbs, now Goff, now Monty, on Sewell, on Laporta, on St. Brown, and Kirby. To the top of the North, to the top of the conference, now dash away, and keep all the confidence. But, as in the NFL, a hurricane would fly, scaring all the supporters. What's falling? The sky. We lost big to the Ravens, there is no doubt. We may never win again, throw this defense out. Sure, Monday versus Vegas was all well and good, yet the next games were close, but the Lions withstood. Then we lost on Thanksgiving, and another soon after. Then we played Denver, and we looked like the master. Now just one more win, and the division will be ours for the first time since 1993. The division is there, tied up in a pretty blue bow. Let's go take it and play deep into the snow. The division is great, but I'm setting my sights higher. I want to be in Vegas, where the air is much drier. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes dug us out of this hole. Now let's shock the world and go win a freaking Super Bowl. Merry Christmas.
Oh, right as I went to host it. Can you even hear me still?
Yeah, I can. You're on.
I tell you what. Trying to do this on my phone and whatnot. Hey, Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. We're here. Me and
Great
Julius.
Poem. Great poem.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun to put together. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We spread that out a couple days ago, and we're here. This is it. This is for all the marbles. You know what I mean? This is for the whole enchilada, for the whole kit and caboodle, for the whole Sharoni. This is what we've all been waiting for. The Lions going for the first division title victory since 1993. Merry Christmas Eve, Julius. How are you doing out there in Germany? What is Christmas like or across the sea?
Well, ironic you asked that, Nick, because today is actually Christmas. The 24th in Germany, they celebrate Christmas on practically Christmas Eve in America. On the evening of the 24th, that's when Santa comes, arrives with all the gifts, and they get around and sing their songs and celebrate Christmas. And it's very ironic for me because today is the day that the Lions could deliver Christmas into my life for the very first time.
Have you ever received a Christmas gift that would be better than the Lions winning the division title?
Oh, no. No Christmas gift would be better. No Christmas gift would be better than that. I'm not even going to get greedy. I mean, I'm happy. I have my family here. I miss you guys over in America, but I'm very thankful to be still doing this show in such a great time and such an exciting time. And the Lions, I firmly believe, are going to deliver on it tonight. So it's a great Christmas we have in store.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. That's all we want here. That's all we need. This is the day we've got our Santa hats on. Santa, I wrote you a letter. I mailed it. All I want for Christmas this year is not my 2 front teeth. I want a Lions division title. And we can get that today with a huge victory. But before we dive into the Lions, let's talk a little bit about Christmas. Man, it's Christmas time. This is our 3rd Christmas together. And I'm just super excited for this time. I love the holiday season. Christmas Eve, full of football. Christmas Day, full of football. Like nothing gets much better. But I'm curious, Julius, what is your go-to Christmas movie and song? If you could only pick one, you know what I mean? What's your go-to Christmas movie? What's your go-to Christmas song? And I'm gonna let you think about it because I know
On
I
the
just put you on
spot,
the spot.
buddy, on the spot.
On the spot. But I'll let you think about it and I'll answer first. My go-to Christmas movie, when in doubt, every year it gets played 24/7 on Christmas Day on TBS or TNT or whatever it is. It's A Christmas Story. I freaking love that movie. It's hilarious. Ralphie getting the pink bunny pajama, shooting his eye out, his little brother acting like a pig eating the mashed potatoes, the neighbor's dogs coming over and eating the full turkey, so they have to go get roast duck at the Chinese restaurant down the road. When they fight, like everything about that movie, the triple dog dare, everything about that movie is top notch. So I love that they play it 24/7 on Christmas Day. I actually don't watch the movie all holiday season leading up to Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, it's nothing but A Christmas Story. Well, and this year it'll be a football. And then my go-to Christmas song, I already mentioned it. Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time by John Lennon. Amazing. And Yoko, amazing song. It is one of my favorite Christmas songs. Every year, right after Halloween, we come home and boom, that's the first song that we put on after trick or treat, and we don't stop listening to it until January. So those are my top movie and song. What about you, Julius?
Those are both excellent choices. These are great questions because this is something that happens every year that you experience. So of course you develop a favorite in each category. I'm gonna go with song first because I probably think that's the easiest for me, and I'm gonna go with none other than. This is very hard. So many great Christmas songs. I'm a fan of the subgenre, as they like to call it.
Yes, me too.
But I'm gonna have to say Silent Night, the Temptations version. A Detroit classic that was instilled in me from a young age and that I still enjoy today. And it's such a soulful, pure version of Christmas song. My favorite Christmas movie. I think the name of the movie is Sandler. It's an animated film.
8 Crazy Nights. It's such.
You know what I'm talking about, Nick?
Oh yeah, 8 Crazy Nights is great.
8 by Adam Sandler. Anybody who knows, that's my favorite. Say it's just something that I used to watch every Christmas once it came out as a kid. I mean, I could also throw like Home Alone and Die Hard in there, but those are niche. So
you think Die Hard Christmas?
I'm gonna go with 8 Crazy Sandler. Shout out to my sister if you're watching. It's a great Christmas movie. It's hilarious animation.
I want to debate real quick. You think Die Hard's a Christmas movie?
A movie that debuts on Christmas, like Die Hard did, is considered a Christmas movie, regardless if it's about Christmas or not.
Okay. See, I agree to disagree because I don't watch Die Hard during Christmas time. I don't think of it as a Christmas movie. It is literally like, so someone, was it Travis Kelce, I think, said this, and he said, if you're going to consider Die Hard a Christmas movie, you need to consider Four Brothers a Christmas movie as well. And I think that's kind of on point because Four Brothers is based around the Christmas time, I guess. It's very wintry and it's great. I love that movie. I assume you love that movie. Anyone from Detroit?
But I don't know if Four Brothers debuted on Christmas. There are movies that are not about Christmas that come out on Christmas or Christmas Eve, a Christmas movie like Die Hard that I consider a Christmas movie. Four Brothers, if it didn't come out on Christmas, I don't consider Four Brothers a Christmas movie. I consider it a great Detroit action movie.
Okay, it is. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go watch it because it is phenomenal. It's a little old. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing with life. But all right, I just wanted to get that out of the way. We talked a little bit of Christmas. Now let's dive into our Detroit Lions. Dun, dun, dun. Forward down the field, another victory will yield. All right, dude. This is huge, man. I don't even care about literally anything. I just want to talk about the division. What this would mean to the city, what this would mean to you, what this would mean to the players, to the staff, to the front office, to the people working there, Julius. Take it away on what you think the emotion would be like if we win this game.
I can't take you through it, Nick, because I don't know what you speak of. Okay, we are us Lions fans. Listen, if we come out on top tonight, we are at a new frontier. It's a great big frontier to be in front of. I tell you that. But it's the very first time we're in front of it. So hey, listen, I can't tell you how to act. I can't tell you how to feel. I can't tell you how I'm gonna act. I can't tell you how I'm gonna feel. But right now, I'm feeling very excited at the thought. So excited I can just like run outside butt naked right now in sub-degree weather in Germany and get arrested by the police and Twitter
just as long as
account.
they have a TV in jail, you know what I mean?
It's like a Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl type excitement. The last time I felt that level close was maybe the Kansas City game when we won that game, when I was with you and Adam. You know, we were all together watching that. That was a moment we had never experienced before at that magnitude. We lost our freaking minds. It was one of the best nights of our life. If we come out on top tonight, I suggest it'll be up there at the top again. One of those nights, one of those great nights.
Okay. While I talk about what I think this means, tell Adam that the link's in our Twitter. He wants to jump on, which is great. I thought last we knew he was getting breakfast with his family, but apparently he's giving the old stiff arm to the family, the old Heisman, and he's coming on the show. So bring him on. We bring him on.
Oatmeal or grits. Oatmeal or grits, Adam.
Dude, oatmeal for sure, right, dude? No, you got to be a grits boy, aren't you? Julius looks.
I love grit. I love good soulful grits, bro. You can't beat them.
Every time I watch like diners, drive-in, and dives, and they make grits, they make it look so good. And then I finally try it anytime I go down south. Like I'll be going down to Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl this year and representing the Honolulu Blues there. And when I do go down there, I try to get like grits, shrimp and grits, grits and cheese, whatever it may be. And it just never hits home for me. It doesn't do it for me. But I want to tell you guys what I think this win would mean to the city. I think Detroit, especially like sports fans in general, have seen nothing but god awfulness for the last decade. In fact, there are kids who are 14, 15, 16 who don't remember the Tigers. Like, how do I word that? The Tigers, victory times, I guess, when we were actually doing well. They don't remember the Red Wings winning their last cup in 2008 or even getting to the cup in 2009. They don't remember the bad boys, or not the bad boys, or the bad boys or the going to work Pistons. Like there is a generation that has no idea what Detroit sports winning is like because they haven't seen it. Okay, they've seen nothing but Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin for the Pistons. They've seen nothing but Jimmy Howard and this huge rebuild that the Red Wings are doing. They've seen nothing but a shell of what the Tigers used to be with an old Miguel Cabrera and a team that just wasn't suitable to play in major leagues. And they've seen the Lions have Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn and Jim Caldwell and these guys that could not get us to where we want to go. This, for the first time in Detroit, is exciting, at least for the last 10 years, because we know the Red Wings are close. The Red Wings are there. They're fighting and vying for a playoff spot, and that's cool. And like that, I hope they make the playoffs, and it's fun to watch them, but they're a streaky team. I believe they've won 16 games when they've scored 4 or more goals and lost all of their games that they've scored 3 or less goals. So this Detroit Lions team is not just like shattering the status quo of Detroit, but this Detroit Lions team is shattering the status quo of what Lions fans know and Detroit fans know. They don't know winning. If you're under the age of 20, you don't really know what winning in Detroit is like. So I'm very like, this is it. This is where we're at. This is where the Detroit like fan base needs to rally around the Lions. We've all been waiting. We're all here. And this is the time to win the division. But I'm going to stop rambling because we got our main boy, Adam, on. Adam, before you even say anything, What is your go-to Christmas movie? What is your go-to Christmas song? On the spot, what do you got?
Okay, so the ones that popped right in my head, Christmas movie is got to be A Christmas Story, because I always watch it with this guy right here, Pops.
That's what I said. That's what I said. And I watch it with my pops. So way to go.
And ironically, my dad got his not first ever, but first in probably 50 years, BB gun. So I assume it's just a Red Ryder, which we'll just mark it as. Hopefully no eyes get shoot out.
Don't shoot your eye out.
Yeah. But I will say I'm a big Christmas cartoon guy. So like the Heat Miser and Snow Miser, those two, anything around those guys, I will watch their little Heat Miser, Snow Miser videos, the little musical they do every single year with my mom. And then favorite Christmas song, gotta go with the OG, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. Just so good.
Great choice.
It's one of those few songs I could listen to like 100 times in a row.
Hell yeah. She's coming to Detroit, I think. Or maybe she already did. I'll get you tickets next year. So, Adam, you kind of jumped in right as I had asked Julius, and I answered myself. I'm gonna jump it right to you. What do you think this division title would mean for not just the Lions, not just for the fans, but the entire city of Detroit? Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Like we need this right now, especially like the diehard Detroit sports fans that are watching the Pistons just be completely abysmal, watching the Red Wings kind of fall apart. But yeah, they're kind of getting it going. They won, they beat the Flyers the other day, but then lost the Devils last night. But anyways, and then the Tigers, not doing anything crazy. So it's like the Lions, who were the butt of the joke, who were always and will always be at the bottom, as what it seemed, is now at the top and can give every Detroiter, every Michigander, every Lions fan just a little bit of hope, happiness, and just some joy for the Christmas holiday. And it's funny, Nick, because you guys were talking about no one's seen Detroit success like this, really. It's been years. And you guys have kids, and so I'm sure your kids are like, what are you talking about, Dad? Lions are awesome. They're going to win their division now. And it's like, why are you crying over this? They're going to win this. I'm only 10 years old, and they're going to win the division in my first 10 years. It's like, simmer down, you little kids. You guys have it made. You don't know the pain and misery. Go watch 10 Pistons games, and that was the Detroit Lions 10 years, the last 10 years. So it'll be nice that all the adults, at least anyone over 20 will appreciate truly. But you will definitely get some kids that are like, what are you talking about? Lions, we're going to the Super Bowl, baby. Of course we are.
That's true. I see this question popped up. Let's jump to this. I asked our fans, our followers on Twitter, to make a prop bet for me. I was like, you guys just tell me what your number one bet, like you get one bet, you get one pick. What would you choose for this game? And there was a lot of touchdowns picked. So the prop bet, which we ended up doing, $5 to win 800 plus, it relies on Sam Laporta touchdown, David Montgomery touchdown, Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown, and Jamison Williams touchdown, along with, I think it was like Gibbs over 19 receiving yards and Goff to throw 2 touchdowns, which you would basically have to get Laporta and Williams the touchdowns that we need. What are you guys' odds? What do we think the odds are that we hit this? Are we at like a 1% chance that this actually hits? Or do we think we can score 4 touchdowns against Minnesota in a dome and actually hit this parlay that we ended up putting out there? Guys, what do you think the percentage is?
All right, I'll hop in here. Yeah, I think it's possible. The Lions are one of the few teams that make it like, I could actually see this hitting. If you look at, probably 15 other teams in the league, you're probably thinking this is kind of a long shot. But this offense, man, we literally saw it last week. There was 5 touchdowns between Laporta and Gibbs. If you just give one of those touchdowns to J-Mo, that's, I think, there was 4 touchdowns. It was J-Mo, Gibbs, Laporta. Was it Amon-Ra with the 4th?
Monty,
that's it. Okay, yeah. So it's like we had the touchdowns literally last week in a dome. It's just they all freaking went to 2 guys. Is that going to happen again this week? Probably not. I feel like at least if we get 5 touchdowns, at least 3 guys will score. So we're getting a little more percentages. And then, like you said, Nick, Goff is pretty much just going to have to throw the 2 touchdowns to make those other 2 work. But if we get a classic, good old-fashioned Jared Goff dome game, It's totally possible.
Julius, you agree or disagree? You think it's a waste of money?
I think it's very much just because the diversity of weapons that the Lions have. It's not so far-fetched as compared to, I mean, if we think about doing it in the Vikings' favor for like Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, the Lions have maybe even a deeper stretch of weapons with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, Laporta, Montgomery, the list goes on. So it's not far-fetched that it can hit my guy Adam with the 3 touchdown, Laporta's with the 3 touchdown. He might do it again this week. Hey, I'm just letting everybody know that's watching.
Bro, they nerfed his odds,
You
man.
bet.
They only give it 60 to 1, not my 110 to 1.
Oh man, they nuked the odds. Never mind. Don't make the bet. I mean, unless you want to win a few bucks. But my guy Adam made a 3 touchdown. See, they already know Laporta about to do it again. They already know.
And they knew Adam was going to bet on it again. They were like, "All right, this dude has bet on them.
Listen, he threw it all over Twitter.
And he finally hit.
He threw it all over X. It was everybody on earth was about to bet that again.
Dude, everyone. I went to work the next day, and everyone was like, "Dude, was that you?" And I was like, "No, man. I bet him for 2 touchdowns and won $70 like a loser, man. I don't even want my money, man. Keep my money."
I claimed Adam's victory, though. I'm like, no, but that was my podcast mate. He won, so it's like I kind of won.
Yeah. When Adam wins, we all win. That's 100% true, dude.
Yes, so got to piggyback off that success, boys. Now, when you guys get one of those big bets, because it's gonna come, I'm definitely claiming.
Yeah, that's what exactly. When one for all for one. All right, guys. So before we kind of jump into the Vikings game itself, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the future and like the possibilities. So to start that off, it's looking more and more that it's going to be the Detroit Lions facing and hosting the Los Angeles Rams in the first round of the playoffs, the NFC wildcard round. This means Matthew Stafford is coming back to Ford Field to play his 4th playoff game. Never mind. I was going to say in Ford Field, but never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. His first playoff game in Ford Field, but it would be as a Ram while that team is getting healthy with the Cooper Kupp that's healthy, a Puka Nacua who's trying to break the rookie record for most receiving yards and catches in a season, a Kyron Williams who was on their bench for 2 years, practice squad, and is finally making a show. And as we all know, Sean McVay and the Rams love their running backs towards the end of the season. Their offensive line is getting healthier, still pretty weak. Aaron Donald is there and is making splashes still like he was 22 years old. So I need to ask you guys, and as I ask, I'll kind of answer myself. What are our thoughts? Just thoughts. Do we want it? Do we not want it? Are we scared? Are we happy? Are we excited? Is it poetic? What is it that runs through your head when you hear Detroit Lions versus Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams for the first ever playoff game in Ford Field? For me personally, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't like it. And I get a lot of people are like, well, we're better than the Rams. And I think we are better than the Rams, especially when we play at home. Even if we were playing in SoFi, but anywhere else, I would say the Rams could probably beat us. But because it would be at home, I truly think that we do have a chance. But out of all the teams that we have a possibility of playing, I think the Rams are the scariest. I think Matthew Stafford is the scariest, right? He is the person, he is the reason why the Rams are not out of it. We started, I believe, 3-6 and are now 8-6 and just on a tear right now, something of that nature. I would be super nervous. Am I the only one? Please kind of tell me that I'm the only one. Please talk some confidence in me. But Julius, I'm going to jump over to you first. What are your thoughts here if the Lions play Matthew Stafford and the Rams in the first ever Ford Field playoff game?
I want it. I don't care who we play. That's the kind of, listen, it's been 30 years, bro. I don't care who we play. Matthew Stafford and the Rams, that's the perfect opponent. They're not as good as us. We would pound their ass into the ground in SoFi or Ford Field. In the trenches, they can't add up. We have punished Stafford. Aiden Hutchinson, we have get past the Stafford narrative. We would be seen as the winners of the Stafford trade. We would be done with the whole SOL forever. We would move past it in an instant. I welcome it. The same way I welcome it any team in any game. Because like I said, we never been here before. And so I'm not about to be afraid of anything. I welcome it all because I believe in this team, and especially against the Rams, especially in the trenches. Like I said, I feel like we would win that game. It's not like I'm like, oh my God, Stafford would throw 5 touchdowns and just crush us. I'm putting that in the back of my head, bro. I'm not doing that, dog. I'm not about to be in that kind of darkness, especially around the holidays. We all need some good cheer.
Yes. Holiday cheer. Adam?
You see, I've went back and forth on this. At first, my first initial reaction was like, no, I don't want to play Stafford. My SOL Lions FOMO kicked in and was just like, I can't afford a loss. I don't care if Stafford didn't even play in the game. I don't want to play the Rams, But I've been thinking more and more about it. And part of me, this is going to sound so weird and so stupid and so just like, okay, come on now. I truly believe there's no way Matthew Stafford will just play a perfect game, beat the Lions, because that's what's going to happen. The Rams beat the Lions. They will have to play a perfect game. Stafford will have to play lights out. And I just don't think Stafford would do that to Detroit. It sounds so weird, but he is such a good type of guy, already has his Super Bowl. And if there was a drive where Rams need to score a touchdown, I truly don't think. I think we would see Stafford making egregious throws, just trying to make it not seem like he's trying to tank the game, but I just don't. There's no scenario I could ever see Stafford marching down Ford Field and beating the Lions in Ford Field for their first playoff game. I feel like he just knows the city of Detroit would just be destroyed. There'd be riots, everything. The city would burn down. And to me, I don't know. Sounds stupid, but Stafford, I don't think would have that dog killer mentality in him. That's like, no, they didn't want me. I'm going to show them. And then on the flip side, it's not just a Matthew Stafford revenge game narrative. It's a Jared Goff revenge game narrative. And if Jared Goff were to beat his old Rams team and, maybe even get to the NFC Championship, perhaps get to the Super Bowl, even win it, that story could potentially be better than the Matthew Stafford story. If Goff beats Stafford, gets a ring, there you go. That tops it. For the Lions too, game over. So all of that, I'm starting to want to embrace the Rams, but don't get me wrong, I am still a little afraid, but I don't know. You're right, Julius. I don't care who we play. We ain't ever been here. We ain't never seen a playoff game at Ford Field in 30 years. I want to see someone. I don't care who it is. I don't care if the Cowboys somehow end up being our opponent. I want to go beat some ass at Ford Field come playoff time and get our first playoff win.
Yes, I love that. Thank you, guys. I did want to hear that. Yeah, I needed that extra boost of confidence because I'm over here biting my fingernails and shivering. So I'm very scared of the Matthew Stafford, honestly. And you're right. It like what Adam alluded to was that it's not just Stafford versus Lions. It is Goff versus Rams. But I think if anyone can beat Goff down, it's Sean McVay. I think he's just seen him for long enough where he knows how to defend around him. But who knows? I don't want to be negative at all or anything or pessimistic or anything.
Bro, you're right. You're right, Nick, because losing to Matthew Stafford at Ford Field in that first Ford Field playoff game would be devastating, dog. We'd all be heartbroken. We'd be heartbroken for at least a month. We'd be depressed.
Yes, full-on depression. Yep. However,
we would be heartbroken and depressed for a month by losing to the damn Saints. Or to the Vikings or the Packers. You know what I'm saying? We can't we expect to win that game.
Right.
So that's why I welcome anybody to it, especially Matthew Stafford, somebody I have love and respect for, and I'm sure so many others do. In the D.
I'm wearing a Stafford jersey as we talk this whole thing through. I have a Rams Stafford ball as we talk all this through. It would be so poetic to see Stafford come back here and us beat him. I would be nervous though. I'd be more nervous for that Rams game than I would be any other game that we get in the wild card. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in that sense. I do want to continue to get ahead of ourselves though. Okay, so let's hypothetically say we win the division today, whenever, I don't care. We win the division. What's the expectations? Not, I mean, sure, we all want the Super Bowl. And if that's what you expect, awesome. Like, please answer that way. But what are your personal expectations deep into January? Do you want us just to at least win a game? Like, right, win one playoff game, expectations exceeded, boom, we hit what we needed, we won a game in the playoffs, first time since 91. That's all I want. I don't care about anything else. If we lose to San Fran or Philadelphia in round 2, it is what it is. Let's just win a game. Or are our expectations NFC Championship, expecting us to beat either San Fran or Philly, or our expectations the Super Bowl, expecting us to beat Philly and San Fran, assuming they both continue to be successful, or Dallas, whoever it may be? What, Adam? I'm actually, Adam, before you start, because I always ask questions, let you guys answer, and then never think about answering myself. So I just want to make sure I get mine out there first. My expectation here is exactly the form of what I said here. It is to win one playoff game. And my expectation is to win one playoff game. Anything else is cherry on top. But this is how far I want my season to at least go, which is winning a playoff game. And I know that sounds kind of absurd, but our bar is so low as Lions fans that I think it's very fair to say that all I want is just one playoff victory. And if we happen to lose to San Fran in round 2 in San Fran, it is what it is. Now, obviously, we start fighting and vying for the first seed, the number 1 seed, or the number 2 seed, so we could have a home field advantage, at least for a couple weeks. And if that's the case, my expectations will probably move forward. I expect us, and I'll answer like this. I expect us to win every game that's in the playoffs at Ford Field. So whether that's 1 game or 2 games or 3 games or 4 games or 5 games or 6, obviously, that's my expectation. Win every single game that's at Ford Field in the playoffs. Adam, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on there. And I think expectations has changed like quite a bit throughout the entire season. Like week 1, it was, all right, if we can make the playoffs anyway and just get a playoff win, that's all. That's a huge season. And then we kind of went on a tear a little bit, and it was like, all right, if we can win the North now, that's a good season. And then we kept won a couple more, and it was like, all right, if we win the North and win a playoff game, that's the season. And then it came back to, well, we just got to win a playoff game. And then it come back to, well, we have to win the North because we have to win a playoff game because we're likely going to win the North. But right now, as it sits, I think for like a Lions successful season, it's got to be a playoff win and the North. If there was some sort of, I'll flip this question to Julius too in a second, but I think you need to get a playoff win in the North just because of what's been going on, how our team's been performing. It's a team that shows that can do it. So it's like, get it done, you know? And for me, anything short of that, it's not like a busted season. It's not a lost season. It's just like a missed season. I would chalk it up to, you know, obviously all the other playoff losses we've had, but it would hold a little more weight with the Ford Field being there. But ultimately, yeah, I think we need at least a playoff win and the division to have a successful season, given where we're at right now. But Julius, the Lions were to just somehow collapse. We lose today. We lose, or maybe we beat Dallas, or somehow we sneak in, we make the wild card spot. And then we go on a tear, win a playoff game as the wild cards. Would that be a successful season? Or do you have to have the home playoff game and the playoff win to have it as like a check mark cherry on top?
Got to have the home playoff win. Got to have the division. There's no other expectation right now but this division. There's no way we collapse these last 3 games. Get a wild card spot, win 1 game and lose, and I'm happy. There's no way. Like, I think I might even be happier if we just win the division, win these last 3 games, even beat Dallas, beat Minnesota, win the division, lose a hard-fought one in the wild card, okay? or in that first game, I'd still be happy rather than just losing the game in total. I just don't want that to happen. I just don't want a collapse. The NFC North is in, like, I can feel it. Like, there's no way. Like, the Packers are not a better team. The Vikings are not a better team. This division is ours, and that's pretty much where I stand at it.
Awesome. I think that's a great question that Adam proposed there. I was thinking of my answer in my head as you were answering. I like your answer. But until you said we could win the next 3 games and even lose the first round, I would rather win a playoff game as a wild card seed. Go 0-3 these games, just tank. Everyone's like, the Lions, SOL, blah, 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 blah. And then we go as a wild card to Minnesota or Green Bay, or whoever wins our division, or Tampa Bay or whatever, and win that playoff game. I want a playoff. The season is successful if we win a playoff game. It doesn't matter where it is. But Julius, you are right. It should be home playoff win. Like, we need to win this division. Like, is the second longest team to not win a division. Like, the Browns are the only team worse than us, and they've been won since 1989. And they weren't a team for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of those years. You know what I mean? Like, we have the longest
playoff win too.
What?
Browns also have a playoff win too, so that's kind of why you don't really hear about their division, because it's like the Lions haven't won the division and the playoff win since 93 or whatever.
We have never won the NFC North, the division that we played in. We have to win it.
Right.
Real quick, Nick, before you get into the Vikings or whatever you say, how nice would it be to be able to go to Ford Field and just see another banner other than those damn 4, like 1952, like whenever we won the Central, and the other 2 stupid banners. But it just feels like every time you're in Ford Field, you're like, man, we really don't got nothing to show for this team. And now it's going to change, baby. This is the start. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is our year. This is our year. This could very well be like the start of a dynasty. We see Brad Holmes, and if he can just keep this going, like, this team will be a dynasty. So yes. I'm hopeful, boys.
Yes, it's crazy to think that the youth will, in 10 years, will look back and say, Lions are great. I've never seen them really lose games. And I'll be like, you sons of guns, I tell you what. But that's okay. That's what we want. That's why we, as a little older, took the brute. We sat through that. You know what I mean? Our parents and older siblings sat through that so that our kids can have this dynasty, New England Patriots type Detroit Lions dynasty run.
Bro,
that's what I'm hoping for.
Our show went through the entire intermission period between total downtrodden, bottom of the sports world to where we're going, now. Yep. Like, our show has been in that whole flux, what I'm saying, the multiverse, we just done jumped.
Look at that. That's a Marvel reference by Julius. We don't get that often. Yes, we have seen it all.
We're in a different multiverse, right? That's exactly right. We have left the Lions' shitty universe where we are just the bottom of the barrel, awful team, and now we're in this multiverse where the Lions are contenders and NFC North champs. And we're going to see what it's like, boys.
We are going to see what it's like. I will get to the Vikings, but I'm just curious because it seems like lately when we do our shows, it's on Sunday, so we talk about the game last week and then the game this week. We never really talk about the Lions, the future of the Lions. We'll have all off season to do it, but I'm curious. I don't want to be negative, but sometimes you got to just bring up some of the tough questions. So I'm going to bring up a tough question right now. 2 of them. I'm going to start with the first one. What will it take from Jameson Williams for us to have the utmost confidence in him going into next year, and or just to be able to call this year successful for Mr. Jameson Williams? Or has he already done enough to call it a successful year? Julius, I'm going to go run it to you. What do you think Jameson Williams has to do this year to, again, have us say it was a successful year for him, or to just give us a lot of hope moving forward?
I mean, if he continues on his current trajectory, which seems to be more and more confidence by the game, we're going to see an explosion soon. This dude is already wide receiver 2 in number of snaps. He's pretty much taken that over. Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond have, taken over their rightful 3-4 spots. JMO, he's one of the most electric players. I mean, he could take the ball to the house anytime he got the ball in his hand. And it's just going to get more and more here. We might see his coming out party during the playoff run. Like the story of the playoffs might be Jameson Williams dominating for the Lions. We talking about like Randy Moss style,
Bro,
Randy.
quick, Julie, sorry to cut you off. R9 goes out and outperforms the Rams 9.
That would be nice.
That'll be amazing. But honestly, JMO, he's starting to build every game. That's all we can ask for him. All the coaches have glowing remarks. I have no quips. I'm ready to see what's next. JMO, I fully believe he's going to take the next step. If last game he had 5 targets, 4 catches, 50 yards. He didn't get a touchdown. I just to say something, I put this on Twitter. I would throw him on a punt return or a kick return too. I promise. If he got open field, his stride is a problem. He could take one to the house. He did at Alabama several times. He was All-American as a freshman. Just saying, Ben Johnson, anybody watching the show, throw JMO on a kick return or a punt return.
I mean, you're right, Juice. He's got the speed, and I'm kind of at the point where it started off where it was like, all right, this is getting a little shaky with the drops early on. But man, oh man, he has started to just chug along and just become that number 2. He's not there yet, but if we could literally see every single game till the end of the Lions season is how he played last week, then that's enough to be like, all right, this dude's got something. He can make good catches. He's not just a deep threat. He's getting more usage, not just little touch passes. So for me, JMO, he's like right on the cusp of having like a good season. And Julius is exactly right. There is an outcome where JMO goes off in the playoffs and everyone is just looking at Brad Holmes like, how the hell, man? How did you know? Like, we all casted this dude off and would be just one of the best outcomes ever if JMO just balled in the playoffs or just even these last 3 games. But we've seen what happens when he gets touchdowns. The Bucs game, he had that awesome head turner, caught it in the end zone, falling down, earned some trust with Goff. And then we had the Bears game where we rallied back, had to have a quick 50-yard touchdown, and boom, JMO's there, gets us back in the game. We get the 3 and out, end up winning the game. So for me, it's like you get 2 of those impact plays. If you give me another one, if he has some sort of touchdown play that impacts this Vikings game, helps us win, where it's like, no, that was the X factor. That was what changed this game. And I think we'll be on the verge of JMO having a successful season, given what's happened this early season with his suspension, ending up coming back early, the drops, all this, yada, yada. So if he can have just one more, like I see something there, then that will give me a lot of hope. I still think he could be an absolute, elite wide receiver 2 side by side with Amon-Ra. And I've been liking what I've been seeing, but I just want to see that one more touchdown play, especially in a big moment where we can clinch the North, where a touchdown from JMO not erases any like bust or like being, worried about him busting, but it gives a lot of comfort. It would give a lot of comfort if he had a solid game, an important game like this.
Yeah. I think last week I was more excited about that first down run and that back catch that like it looked like he got injured on.
Yeah, the one he goes up and freaking almost looked like he got his knee ripped out.
Right. But it was a great catch. And those are more important to me than these 50-yard bombs that he's catching for a touchdown, honestly, because Goff, we know, isn't the best at deep ball. And his percentage might be pretty well, but that's because he throws very few, I would say, about him of the deep balls. So give Jameson Williams more opportunities within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage and let him make plays like he did on that first down play where he caught it and had two guys on him 7 yards behind the first down and still got the first down just right up the sideline. So I agree that if we get the games like we just saw, if we can pile those on consistently for the rest of this season, I think it will be a successful season for Jameson Williams. However, if we end the year and that was his best game or his most catches in a game, then I think this year wasn't as successful. I still have hope for him. But we'll shift real quick to another guy I want to know where we stand on. And obviously we love him right now because we're hoping that this guy can take us to the playoffs. It is our leader. It is Jared Goff. Where do you stand on Jared Goff? There is no wrong answer. And if there is, your answer, whether it goes from extend him to get rid of him, there is no wrong answer. And this is a safe space for everyone. So I need to hear, we're going to go reverse angle. Whoops, I was trying to do it this way. No, I can't even do it that way. Anyways, Adam, there you are over here. Why don't you start us off? What do you want out of Jared Goff to keep him here longer, or is there nothing he can do where you want to keep Jared Goff here and you're ready to move on after the season, after we win a Super Bowl? You know what I mean? But where are you on Jared Goff?
I keep going back and forth and back and forth. I seem like every Lions fan has been doing that because it's Goff. I mean, when he's indoors, he's playing like a top 5 quarterback. But when he's outdoors, he could play like a bottom 5 quarterback. Now, don't get me wrong, he could still play like, maybe not top 5, but at least a top 10 quarterback outdoors. It's not a guaranteed that he's a bust. It's just a greater chance that he busts that week. So Jared Goff, as long as he can just get these wins, and if the Lions end up going, I want to say 12-5, 12-win season, man, that's going to earn you at least a couple home playoff games. And not to mention, if there were ever some sort of fluky year where like that 1 seed or 2 seed or whatever went out and the Lions had home playoff advantage for the rest, I would feel so confident with Goff. The only slight not feeling super confident is obviously the outdoors play. And even then, if this Lions team is as good as it is, how many outdoor games are we really going to play? Like, this is the first season of, the playoff run, essentially. So if the Lions are expected to make the playoffs next, 5-7 years, I feel like we're going to be 12-win teams more times than not, giving us, at least one home playoff game, maybe 2, maybe 3. So if that's the case, I'm back in on the re-sign Goff train. The Lions play at least 8 or 9 games at home every single year. That's enough, I guess, to make me believe that, all right, we're not going to be outside 17 games. Our schedules, a lot of the teams we play, the Vikings have a dome. A lot of the NFC teams have domes. So that helps out too a little bit. But ultimately, if he can win this game today, he will be one more victory away from pretty much any paycheck he wants. And it might be an overpay, whatever. I do think the Lions should be smart about the contract, maybe putting out in there in a couple of years or whatever, maybe some sort of something. But Brad Holmes, he's good with contracts. I trust him on that. But Jared Goff, I'm kind of all in, man. I believe in him, and I agree. I've heard a lot of other people say, like, well, who else? I know there's Hendon Hooker, but there's no guarantee Hendon Hooker turns out and plays like C.J. Stroud just because, he's a rookie who's performing well. So I like what we have. I know how well Goff can play indoors. All we have to do is play 3 indoors games in the playoffs, and I will feel like Goff could be a top 5 quarterback for those 3 games. So ultimately, if it comes down just to that one little outdoor thing, I don't think it's enough to be like, you know what, we need to give Hooker an option. We got to find someone else. I think we just got to stick with Goff, and I think he will make it work. But boys, that is going to be my final note. I got to take off, go to
quick score prediction, Adam.
Yes, score prediction. I think the Lions get the job done, win the NFC North today in Minnesota. I'm going to go a good old-fashioned 28-24. A typical, just like football score game.
Awesome. Thanks for jumping on, Adam. Go enjoy breakfast.
Have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy. And hope you guys have a good
Merry Christmas, Adam.
Hell yeah.
See ya. Go Lions.
Julius,
Go
I do want to
Lions.
know what your thoughts on Goff here is. Like, where are you at in Goff?
When it comes to Jared Goff, it's simple for me. He has to show if he can take us on a playoff run. He has to win the division, win the playoff game, and maybe win another one for me to be comfortable making him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league via extension. That is all. If they bomb out and don't get the division, question mark, I wouldn't give him the extension. Even if he wins one playoff game, like you alluded to, like bombs the division, wins one playoff game, no extension. If he wins the division and loses that home playoff game, no extension. No extension. All right. So minimum, I need a division home playoff win led by Jared Goff for me to be comfortable with a viable Jared Goff extension. Simply as that. Yeah.
That's fair. And that's fair. And that's a good mark. I think that's kind of a low bar mark to set. You know what I mean? Like that's not improbable by any means, shape, or form. Goff has won many playoff games. So I'm definitely okay with that, and I will agree with you. We will get in the last few minutes of the show. Let's finally talk about these Vikings. We are seeing them for the first time this season. We will see them twice in the last 3 weeks of the regular season, concluding the regular season in Ford Field against the Vikings again in a few weeks. But right now, we will be in not Gillette. What is their stadium called? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Anyways,
is it U.S. Bank?
What is it? Oh,
is it U.S. Bank?
I think you're right. U.S. Bank Stadium. So Skull Vikings going over there. The fans are rowdy. They're just as eager to win this. They think of the Lions as SOL, and they think that even with Nick Mullins, the Lions will poop the bed, and they have a legitimate shot at winning the division, which they do, which they absolutely do. Jettas is back. Addison is playing very well. Luckily, we didn't get to see them while they had Kirk Cousins. This is a Hawkinson revenge game. You know, he's already played us since going to Minnesota, but every time he comes to Detroit, it's a revenge game, I feel, especially because we are not shy to bring up his quote about finally going to a team that wins games. As a fan base, we bring it up quite a bit. So their defense is coming around. I don't know what injuries they have. I know our injuries are really limited to just Jerry Jacobs and Brock Wright. I believe Frank Ragnow didn't practice, but is expected to play. I could be wrong. Sorry, I didn't do my research too well before hosting this. Normally Adam does, but I think it's just Jacobs and Brock Wright. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But we're seeing the Vikings. Divisional games. We saw with the Bears. We saw with the Packers. Any divisional game is a rivalry game. It is a close game. I don't care if Alabama is undefeated when they go up and play Auburn in the Iron Bowl. It's a close game. I don't care if Michigan is undefeated. Most of the times when they go play Michigan State, no matter how bad State is, it's a close game. These games are different. They are not just your AFC versus NFC football game. They are divisional games. This will be, 200th time we played Minnesota, 150th time we play Minnesota in this lifespan of these two organizations. So this game means something, not just for the division, but for bragging rights, for Twitter bragging rights, for fan bragging rights, for player bragging rights, all of this stuff. What do you expect from this game, Julius? And if you have them available, what are a few, if not one at least, keys to victory? That's what I'm looking for.
The Lions have not won in Minnesota, I believe, in the last 6 trips. So, it's not like the easiest place for them to win historically. However, I think the Lions kingdom, Lions Nation, which is soon to be America's team, is going to travel to this game and take over U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. And I think that's going to turn the tide on the home field advantage aspect. The whole we haven't won in the last 6 tries. We haven't been there in a year. We're going to win today. Keys to victory for this game for me. Nick Mullins must be exposed. Lions defense, Aaron Glenn, come to play. They have a pretty good offensive line when it comes to pass blocking. They're not the best. Their run game, Ty Chandler, he's like a 3rd string, 4th string running back they're pulling in there. I think Madison is active. They're not going to get nothing going on the ground. Let them play action. Nick Mullins, non-factor, key to the game 1. Like totally exposed, turnovers, everything. Nick Mullins is going to lose the game for the Vikings. Key to the game number 2. Offensively, we should be able to control this game on the ground. However, I believe that Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to do the same exact thing they did against Denver yesterday, and Jared Goff is going to have another exemplary game. Ben Johnson is raising his asking price by the play. By the play. It's going to be, this is a coordinator game. This is Ben Johnson versus Brian Flores, 2 of the best at their craft. Epic play calling. I think Ben Johnson is going to shine. So that's the second key to the game offensively. The last key to the game is to take it, claim it, own it.
That's a great key.
Everything Dan Campbell has built, everything Brad Holmes has built, has accumulated to this game tonight. And I think the whole roster knows that.
Yep.
Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, Goff, Laporta, Gibbs, they all are lasered in, and just like we are, and we're ready to see it. And that's pretty much the last key to the game, because it's right there. It's right there to take the NFC North for the very first time.
Hell yeah, it really is. I will jump on board with these keys. I would say one of the biggest keys is they have a very good run defense. Let's win the run battle. Let's win the offensive line versus their defensive line battle. Let Gibbs and Monty go out and take it. The second key is Dan Campbell. Last time we played Minnesota, we had a 10-point lead with 4 or 5 minutes to go in the game. And because of some, in my opinion, boneheaded calls from Dan Campbell, we lost that game. Now that, I think, was the get-right game for Dan Campbell, because he turned things around when it came to play calling. He didn't lose his gutsiness, but he got smarter and better about the way he went about going for it and punting and kicking field goals and everything, in my opinion. There's some that we can always argue, but I think that was the get-right game after we lost that. The third key is Addison, Justin Jefferson. Our corners, if it's going to be Vildor or Khalil Dorsey guarding Jordan Addison, is risky business. Cam Sutton needs to play out of his ass against Justin Jefferson, and we need to have over-the-top help with Kirby and or Iffy. I love the way Iffy played last week. I hope he's continuously to start over Tracy Walker. I love Tracy Walker, but bring him in as a depth piece. I want Iffy out there. Those are the 3 keys to me. This is for the division, like you said. Let's go fucking take it. Let's go win this fucking division and be NFC North champions for the first time in the history of the Detroit Lions and of the NFL. No NFL Central bullshit. I want NFC North champions. Now, what is your score prediction?
My score prediction is Lions 35, Vikings 13. Beat down. NFC North, raise the goddamn banner in Ford Field, baby.
I wish I could do the Mario where you pull the flag in Mario and you go up to it and whatnot. Anyways, I'm gonna go a lot closer. This game I think will be a great game. It will not be a blowout. I think it's gonna be tight, and I'm gonna go 22-20 Detroit Lions. Let's go Lions! Thank you all for listening. Follow us on Honolulu Blues. Subscribe. We're on YouTube, Twitter, everything. I don't know. Just find us. We're on everything. And come join the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. Always feel free to comment. And as always,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Go Lions!
Go Lions!